Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. I'm Dan. Every week we sit down with people who are shaping what you're watching, following, and talking about right now. And on this week's show, we got this.
The more that you find out about the person that you're in love with, you go to meet their family, you go and meet their siblings, you go sit there with their mom and go through the family photo book.
They either love to hate me or hate to love me, and I welcome and appreciate it all.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind. What if you could experience Elvis in a way you've never seen or heard before? A new cinematic event from director Baz Luhrmann brings rare footage, restored performances, and unheard recordings together in something that's not quite a documentary and not just a concert film. It's called Epic, Elvis Presley in Concert. Baz Luhrmann joins us now to talk about his new big screen experience. Baz, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, Dan, and I love the way you described it as a cinematic event, because people are having trouble to sort of say what it is. That's what it is. This weekend, 1,900 screens all over the US. Get out and have a cinematic event, because that's what we tried to do. That's what Elvis is.
And during the making of Elvis, you went searching for rumored lost concert footage.
Yeah.
And actually found dozens of boxes that hadn't been seen in decades. What did that discovery like for you?
Oh my God! Literally, we thought we'd find a reel, and we went down to these salt mines in Kansas City where they stored negative. Bang! There's 65 boxes. And 1635, some 8 mil. And Peter Jackson helps us bring it back to us to a level of quality. I mean, just get to the biggest screen you can in your town. It's in every town this weekend. Just get out there and see it, because it is actually, I've seen it enough now. People like applaud during it, they dance during it. This is a movie you can really bother the other patrons, bother them with your noise and your energy, because that's what it's for.
And this isn't simply a restored concert film. You described it as almost a cinematic poem. How did you approach shaping Elvis's life story through this dreamlike concert experience?
Well, when I was working with my creative partner in this, John O'Redman, we found this one box, and in it, Elvis is just recorded, unguarded, telling you about his life story. And we said, no talking heads in this. Let's just have Elvis come to you in a dream and tell you his story really unrestricted, and music and sing along and concert moments, and he rocks out in it. Now sonically it's in 5/1. Everyone just says it sounds like it was recorded today, and the audiences are reacting like that. This is the concert, the world tour that Elvis never actually had. He dreamed of having one. He never got outside the US. As we're speaking, he's in 5,000 screens all around the world right now.
And for audiences who think they already kind of know Elvis or absolutely loved your film from 2022, what makes Epic a completely different experience on the big screen?
I go on YouTube and just see what fans are saying. They'll tell you. They're going like, I thought I knew him, and now, but it's his humor. He's so goofy. He's so disarming. And then just you see him creating the music. Like you see him take a song like Bridge Over Troubled Water, Simon and Garfunkel, and turn it into this like gospel powerhouse song. And, he's so unpredictable. And I think people are, even hardcore fans are going like, one guy said, he said it beautifully. He said, this is the film that Elvis always dreamed of making, but 50 years after his death, he's finally in it.
Baz, I want to thank you for joining me today. Epic Elvis Presley in Concert is in theaters now. You can find showtimes and tickets at your local theater and experience Elvis like never before. Baz, it's been a pleasure to have you on here, my friend.
Yes, my man. You're cool.
The Housemaid is one of those thrillers where everything looks perfect on the surface, but then it just slowly unravels. It's based on the best-selling novel that stars Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried in a story filled with secrets, power, and unexpected twists. Behind the camera is director Paul Feig, bringing his signature style to a dark, psychological ride that keeps audiences guessing. Paul, it's great to have you here with us. How are you, my friend?
Dan, I'm great. On a Monday morning, I've never been better.
All right, so this story pulls people in fast and keeps kind of flipping expectations. What was it about The Housemaid that made you want to tell this story on the screen?
Well, I mean, the book is so good. The source material is there, and I'm always looking for, especially in the thriller genre, ones that have just big twists and turns that you don't see coming. And then once you get one twist, you get another twist, and then you get another twist. And, Frida McFadden's book is just so good. There's a reason it's been on the bestseller list for 2 years now. And so it just seemed like it was just too delicious to not bring to the big screen.
And you've kind of described this movie as almost a Nancy Meyers movie gone wrong.
Yes.
How did that idea shape the look and the tone of this film?
Well, I mean, exactly what it sounds like. I wanted Millie, the character of Millie, which is played by Sydney Sweeney, to come into this world that just on the outside looks like the perfect situation. The house is all cream colored and beautiful, and everything is perfectly ordered. And it feels like for a girl who was living in her car just, at the time, to come into this situation would be fantastic. Because it's a real, the whole book is really a statement about like, are we making judgments on just facades, and should we dig a little deeper? You don't want to just trust everybody, but at the same time, there's a lot of con people out there these days. So you want to delve a little deeper before you give the stamp of approval to anybody.
And the power dynamics in the story are just constantly shifting. How did you approach keeping the audience guessing on, I guess, who to trust?
Yeah, well, I mean, we had to kind of really hide things. So, because there's such big turns and we kind of make you root for things that later on you'll find out you probably shouldn't be rooting for. And it was just really getting my cast, who are so amazing, to just play very real into these things so that you don't see what lies beneath any of them, because everyone's got a really big secret.
And Sydney Sweeney, Amanda Seyfried, they both play characters with a lot of going on beneath the surface. What stood out to you about the performances as pretty much everything starts to unravel?
Well, I mean, just the pivot that they made. Sydney had to kind of play very, kind of naive and innocent until you kind of find out her backstory. And then with Amanda, it was we just had a blast kind of letting her just be sort of all over the place because, Nina, that character that she plays, is very unpredictable and it keeps Millie off her game. So that was really fun. And then Brandon Sklenar playing the perfect husband. He just is wonderful, and him from other movies where he plays this guy. But then, to get to play with that was fun too. But no spoilers.
Oh, of course. This movie feels like it's kind of designed to be a social watch, like either with an audience or with a group of friends. Why do you think that's important for the story?
Oh, well, first of all, movies, we need people back in movie theaters. It's fun to watch a movie by yourself on streaming, but there's nothing like that group experience. And what we've been finding with this movie is people are going in there with groups. And I mean, I've sat in the million audiences now with this movie, and they're cheering and they're screaming and they're talking back to the screen and they're just having a great time. It's very interactive. And I think with a movie like this, with all these twists and turns, because I'm a comedy guy, I've done Bridesmaids and all these things. Everything I do is engineered to get a vocal response out of an audience. So if you're there with your friends, you're just going to have a great time just looking at each other and saying, oh my gosh, and and talking to the screen and just going nuts.
Paul Feig, I'm a super fan and you are a hero to me. The Housemaid is now playing in theaters nationwide. If you're in the mood for a smart, twisty thriller that keeps the surprises coming, this one is worth seeing on the big screen. Paul, I want to thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. And everybody, please go. You're going to have a great time.
Ever wonder what would happen if the whole world suddenly got too happy and you were the one person who couldn't go along with it? Apple TV has a brand new series called Pluribus, where a mysterious event connects pretty much everyone, and somehow that perfect world feels like a nightmare. Rhea Seehorn stars as Carol, the most miserable person on Earth, who might be the only person who can stop it. Rhea Seehorn is here with us today. Welcome to the show, Rhea. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. Thanks.
All right. So for people that are just hearing about Pluribus, what is the simplest way to describe Carol and the moment that her world kind of flips upside down?
Simple? I'm not sure I can pull that one off. Okay. So Carol it kind of is, but was a successful romance novelist, but very much a misanthrope, fault finder, can't enjoy anything, has to say what's wrong with everything, and has this world event happen that moves somewhat like a virus, where everybody except 13 people are immune, and she's one of the immune people to this thing that makes everybody habitually peaceful and content and happy. And they all have one brain. You're still in your own mortal body, but you share one hive mind. Carol thinks this is a horrible thing. And even among the other immune people, a lot of them think, why is this so bad? And that's sort of an integral question that the show explores from a lot of different angles of how do you define happiness? How do you define contentment? How do you define individuality and freedom and success? And what is worth the cost of some of those things.
And it also looks like Carol has this dream life, but she's still miserable. And I can relate. What did you latch onto emotionally when you first read who she is and who she's kind of fighting against?
I mean, I felt like she's, wait, say your question again. I'm sorry. I didn't want my cat to bother you.
Oh, no, I'm down with cats. We got cats in our studio, so cat life is the best life that we have. It was basically saying, when you read the script, what did you latch onto emotionally and when you saw that she was kind of fighting against the world, I guess?
Yeah, many things. And one of them being that I had to constantly keep in mind that there is a very personal obstacle she has weighing her down. In addition to losing the world, she lost her wife. And we wanted that grief to stay real and present and not just be something that you're just over the next day. And I kind of would start from that place some days because I thought it's hard to take in, if you're a real person that this is happening to, the larger aspects of what is going on in the world. And there's many times where she's, the Simpsons character of old man yelling at clouds. And she's just the only person screaming and no one understands why. And so I just kept reminding myself to try to be as honest as I could in those moments. And Vince writes in a way that allows those moments of honesty, which I think are always the way to bring the audience in on the journey with me.
And the show plays with this big question, is that joined happiness a utopia, or is it something darker? As an actor, how do you stay grounded in the reality of the story while everything around just kind of feels uncanny?
Just like I was just saying, I just look for like, what is the real person in the middle of this? What is the real reaction? So yeah, most of us have not had a situation where we felt like the entire world was invaded by some kind of alien virus that was making them happy. But we have all been in rooms, most of us, I think, where you feel like you're the only person shouting that the barn's on fire. Mm-hmm. And you look crazy shouting it. And everyone's like, wow, you should really settle down. And it just is making you crazier and crazier. So I was just constantly look for like, what are the things that are most like this, as if that you can just start the build from there and then raise the stakes.
And you and Vince Gilligan have such a strong creative history. I could tell that there's a big difference in the tone of Pluribus compared to what people might expect from him. But how did he open this up and let you explore in what you did with Carol?
I mean, for some people, this is Vince going back to his roots because he started on X-Files. So they were prepared to have him do sci-fi. He actually told me almost nothing. He just said it has nothing to do with the Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul world. It has a sci-fi element, and I just want to send you the script and see what you think. And I went on the same wild ride that you guys did watching the pilot. I was just like, this is nuts, and this is going to be so much fun.
Ray, I want to thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Pluribus is streaming now on Apple TV. If you like smart sci-fi with suspense, dark humor, and a big, wait, what would I do question or two, this one's going to stick with you. So check it out on Apple TV. Ray, I want to thank you for hanging out with me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
More than 60 years of rock, and they're still filling arenas. From Rock You Like a Hurricane to Wind of Change, the Scorpions have sold over 110 million records and helped define rock for generations. Now they're heading back to Las Vegas for a brand new residency, celebrating 6 decades of music. So joining us from Germany, we've got Klaus Meine and Matthias Jabs of Scorpions. It's great to have you both here. How are you?
Great.
Very good. How are you? Thanks for having
us.
I'm doing good. All right. It's been 60 years. That's one heck of a long time for pretty much any business. When you look back, what stands out most about the journey from those in the early days in Hanover to now headlining another Vegas residency?
Oh, it's crazy when you think about it, because for German band, when we started out in the early 70s, writing lyrics in English, it was a big dream, to say one day we'll play the United States. And when we had the chance to come over in 79 and throughout the 80s, this dream came true, and it's a wonderful thing after so many years that we're still together, still playing a global stage and, still rocking like a hurricane. And we can't wait to come back for another residency in Vegas in September, and hope many, many fans from all over the place will join us and see us there.
And songs, like you mentioned, Rock You Like a Hurricane, No One Like You, and Winds of Change, still connect with a new audience. What do you think gives those songs that staying power?
I mean, first of all, with No One Like You, I think we were in 1982 with a Blackout tour. We were the most played radio song on rock radio, at least, and gave us the headline status in the States touring, and then followed by Rock You Like a Hurricane. The 80s were extremely good for the Scorpions, and with Wind of Change, we topped it all in the early 90s, and those are three iconic songs which we still play live and which carried us through the decades, you know, plus many other songs like Still Loving You, Big City Nights, whatever we have. And all those greatest hits we will play on stage at the Residency in Vegas.
Yes, Vegas has become a home base for you. And the last couple of years, and I think we talked last year, what makes this Residency different from the previous runs you've done?
We have to find out. I mean, we are still on the 60th anniversary tour. We will always play the greatest hits because, you know, there's such a great demand from the fans. But we have time enough to think about something very special. So
when you build the set list for a show like this, how do you balance the massive hits with some of the deeper cuts and maybe even some new material?
They have to be a good balance, you know, because there's so many songs that the fans want to hear, definitely, you know, and so we throw in songs also from Rock Believer, our latest album, you know, so like songs like Gas in the Tank, but also all-time classics like The Zoo, Loving You Sunday Morning, Tease Me, Please Me, you know, all these rockers, and a couple beautiful ballads like Send Me an Angel are in the set as well, you know, so many songs we just have to play, and then we think about on digging deep into some other material we haven't played for quite a while.
So after 6 decades, what still excites you about walking on stage and hearing that crowd?
The fans. I mean, it's the roar of the audience. The minute you go out, you might be nervous before you walk out on stage, but the minute you see the fans, you're connected and it clicks, you know, and together we have a magic evening, rocking out like crazy. And especially in Vegas, there couldn't be a better place to celebrate 60 years of Scorpions.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today. Scorpions coming home to Las Vegas. 60 plus years of Scorpions kick off this fall at PH Live at Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino. Tickets are on sale now. Get them at Ticketmaster.com/ScorpionsVegas. If you ever wanted to hear those anthems live in one room, this is your chance. I want to thank you two one more time for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
And enjoy. Have a good day.
WrestleMania is already one of the biggest events in sports entertainment, and this year it's turning into an entire week-long takeover in Las Vegas. From SmackDown to Raw to the massive 2-night WrestleMania at Allegiant Stadium, you know, fans are getting more action than ever. So joining us now is WWE superstar Liv Morgan, champion, rule breaker, and one of the most dangerous competitors in the game. Welcome to the show, Liv. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I love that introduction. Thank you. I'm doing well. I woke up the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. So I have no complaints, you know?
All right. Congratulations to you. You've been kicking butt, both literally and figuratively. WrestleMania 42 just got even bigger with SmackDown and Raw added to the week. What does it mean to be part of like an entire WrestleMania week instead of just one night?
Yeah, so WrestleMania week is always chaotic in the best way. We have Friday Night SmackDown, as you said, Monday Night Raw. We have the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony where Stephanie McMahon's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So iconic. And then we have our 2-day spectacle of WrestleMania. It is a very busy week, but it is so worth it. There is so much connection with the WWE universe. So many opportunities to run into your favorite WWE superstar and get an autograph and get a photo. Giving back to the WWE Universe and the community of Las Vegas for so graciously hosting us in our second year of WrestleMania there. You know, last year we had our most successful WrestleMania of all time in Las Vegas as far as attendance and viewership. And so we are excited to run it back and do it bigger and better than ever.
You've had some massive moments in your career. Money in the Bank, championship wins, the Revenge Tour. When you look at this year's WrestleMania season, where does that rank for you personally?
Ooh, well, you know, I think for me, it might end up ranking as #1 because after 11 years of hard work and dedication, I finally certified myself a spot in the WrestleMania event. Which day, I don't know, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to walk out a champion. And so I'm super excited.
Okay, and Backlash is coming up in Tampa in May, and it's the first premium live event after WrestleMania. How does the energy shift after WrestleMania, and why should fans expect fireworks at Backlash?
Yeah, so WrestleMania to me kind of signifies like the start of the wrestling new year. You know, we work all year to lead into WrestleMania, to tell these stories and have these matches at WrestleMania. And once it's done, it kind of feels like a reset. So Backlash being the first PLE in the wrestling new year, as far as I'm concerned, in Tampa, where I'm currently from. So I kind of feel like the hometown hero walking in, a brand new champion. So you can expect excitement, chaos, and I'm known to be a little bit messy. So you can expect a mess.
All right, some fans love you, some fans love to hate you. Either way, they're watching, but how do you channel that reaction when you step into the ring?
Kind of exactly what you said. You know, they either love to hate me or hate to love me, and I welcome and appreciate it all because I don't really care what you think about me, respectfully. You know, it is what it is, and I'm going to do the same thing that I do regardless. But I appreciate the noise. Everything that we do is for the audience and for their energy. So whether they're cheering or booing me, I appreciate it nonetheless.
Maybe you should challenge some of them to the ring themselves.
They can't handle me. Are you kidding me?
All right, for anyone who's never experienced a WWE live event in person, what's different about being inside that arena compared to like just watching it at home?
Yeah, so, you know, watching at home, you get all the camera angles, you get the commentary on your TV. It's a very much more intimate, controlled experience. But live, you have the energy of the hundreds of thousands of people that got a ticket with you that are cheering or booing their favorite WWE superstars. It is such a mix of athleticism, sport, entertainment, blended in a way that only WWE can provide. So you are definitely in for a treat because WWE is for everyone and we want everyone to be entertained. So you bring your mom, your uncle, your cousins, your dog. I don't think dogs are allowed in the venue, so you can't bring your dog, but your dog can sit and enjoy at home if you don't come to the show. But I'd recommend coming to the show.
I've also heard that you're becoming a movie star and have a project on the way.
I have something on the way. Bad Lieutenant, I filmed in Japan last year. It's going to hit theaters in September. I was very excited about the project. I learned a lot, and I feel better after the fact, having the experience. I was lucky to be in the room with all of these incredibly talented veterans of the film industry. And the WWE audience is going to see me in a way that I think perhaps they never thought they'd see me. So I would tune in.
Liv Morgan, I want to thank you for joining me today. WrestleMania 42 takes over Las Vegas April 18th and 19th at Allegiant Stadium, with SmackDown on April 17th and Raw on April 20th at the T-Mobile Arena. And WWE Backlash heads to Tampa on May 9th. You can get your tickets and full event details at WWE.com. Liv, I want to thank you for hanging out with me today.
Thank you. Have a good day. And don't forget to watch me. Future champion over here, okay?
Fans of When Calls the Heart are finally getting the backstory, and it's a pretty big one. Hope Valley 1874 is now streaming, taking us to the very beginning of the town and the people who pretty much built it. We're joined by Bethany Joy Lenz and Jill Hennessy, who play two of the women at the center of it all. And it's great to have you two here. How are you?
Hi, so great to be here.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
No worries. I've heard a lot about this. A lot of my fans, or a lot of the people watching, are fans of the show. And for people that do already or are already fans of this world, what's different about seeing Hope Valley kind of at the way beginning?
Oh man, I think it's going to be so incredible, I think, for people to be able to see this town being built from the ground up. It's something. It's kind of like when you meet a new friend, or fall in love. the more that you find out about the person that you're in love with, you go to meet their family, you go and meet their siblings, you go sit there with their mom and go through the family photo book. Like, that's what we're giving you guys a chance to do as fans of When Calls the Heart. And we really hope to do it justice.
And Bethany, your character, Rebecca, is coming into the frontier life from pretty much Chicago life. What kind of adjustment is she dealing with early on?
Well, there are several adjustments. The first being that she's been recently widowed. So trying to figure out emotionally where to place her grief while also being in this sort of emergency situation of needing to get her daughter to a safe place. And we don't know exactly why yet. Well, we know, but you're going to find out. And she's got to get across the frontier and get her daughter into a safe place in Canada. So she doesn't have a lot of time for emotional processing. And that's kind of where Hattie Quinn comes in. Jill's character, it opens up once Rebecca lands. Hattie becomes a source of stability and trust for Rebecca to actually start to learn how to soften and open up.
And yeah, she was saying, Jill, Hattie's already part of this community. How would you describe her role in shaping what Hope Valley becomes?
Wow. Well, she's Hattie Quinn runs the Trading Post, and she originally came out with her husband and very small girl at the beginning. And now her daughter is around 20 years old, but she recently lost her husband. So now she's running this Trading Post by herself with her daughter. And she is sort of the glue that holds the community together. And I think she runs it with a great sense of humor and incredible, direct, no nonsense kind of spirit, and has great connections with the whole community. But then Rebecca starts walking into town with her daughter, riding in a covered wagon. And I think Hattie identifies a woman who's very courageous and intelligent and is kind of haunted by something, and Hattie's not sure what is haunting Rebecca, but I think she also identifies a kindred spirit that she might become friends with. And I think Rebecca sort of opens Hattie up to how lonely she really feels, and a lot of feelings she's been trying to suppress just so she can get through day to day, because that's what this whole show is about. It's just these characters trying to survive every single day.
Hey, horses be walking, so it's not that big. You're not too far off.
Exactly.
All right, when people start watching now, what do you think is going to be like getting them hooked and keep them coming back each and every week?
The characters. I mean, the setting is amazing, but it's also something that they've seen before, maybe not as broken down, but we are using the When Calls the Heart sets. There are a few locations that will be new for When Calls fans. And for people who haven't watched When Calls the Heart, you don't need to. You can still jump right in and you won't miss a beat. But I would say the relationships of who the characters are there's something for everyone.
Hey, I want to thank you two for joining me today. Hope Valley 1874 is streaming now on Hallmark Plus with new episodes dropping every Thursday. You can jump in anytime to catch up. Thank you two for joining me today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this week's Rise and Unwind. I want to thank you for watching. If you want more, you can find full interviews and extra clips on our website, and follow along on social media for more conversations just like this. We'll see you next time.